riduzone.com. It's Brad's worked. It's worked for Brad's, worked for me, countless other people. Go to riduzone.com and try today. You're going to love it. Riduzone.com. Remember that, RIDU zone.com.
Are you tired of high cable TV rates? Sign up for Dish today and get a $500 bonus offer while supplies last. Plus, lock in your price for 2 years guaranteed. Call All American Dish, your Dish authorized retailer now.
800-570-6630. 800-570-6630. That's 800-570-6630. Offers require credit qualification, 24-month commitment, early termination fee, and e-auto pay. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
Yeah, some crazy stuff in the food news today, as always. It is Wednesday. I don't know what the date is, but it's Wednesday, sometime in, April 2019? Chef Patrick Mosher, the Food Biz Pro. How are you today? So I go to a website which kind of aggregates a bunch of different stories from around the world. The viewers there, or the readers, submit these stories, and then they generate their own headlines, and they choose which one is best, and they throw the story up. And so today is one of them I saw is, a diet rich in animal protein is associated with a greater risk of death, which, if you've been paying attention, is still 100%. Makes sense to me. Anyway. Oh, we had a good day for you today. Big day, actually. We should be having a caller here pretty soon. Make sure the phone lines are open. I know the phones are unmuted. I believe that we have one of our hosts, and I believe someone who's a friend of mine. Cody Stortz is going to be calling in. His podcast was formerly Reckless. Now he's kind of gotten out of the restaurant game. He's got a new baby coming, and he's repping an amazing company called the Chef's Warehouse. So he should be calling in a few minutes with a gentleman who reps some fantastic sounding products. He's got yuzu, which is, if you don't know what that is, it's a Japanese citrus, also called, I think in French it's citron. I'm not sure what the exact scientific name for the citrus is, but it's a staple in Japanese food. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but there's a sauce that involves it's black garlic. I don't know if you know what that is, but pretty amazing stuff. If you've never had it, try it. It's basically a garlic that's been kind of fermented, and it has a very unique taste. Yes, fermented garlic. And no, I did not share the feed to my Facebook page today. You know why? Because I apparently changed my security settings, my privacy settings, and it has now disallowed myself, the owner of the page, from sharing a live feed from another page of which I am the owner. So, again, another strike against Facebook, but, who's counting? That's like 647. Apparently, they're still winning, though. Let's see. What else is in food news today? Oh, it's Wind Down Wednesday, too. So Laura Geen should be calling in a little bit later today. I sent her a text. I have not gotten confirmation, but typically she calls in, even if I don't say anything. Today, I was a little off yesterday. I believe I said that yesterday was National Siblings Day. So today, after retracting my statement, hello to my lovely brother Gary, my sister Galen, my sister Karen, my sister Bernice. Happy Siblings Day. I'm sorry I had to retract that yesterday, but it was a day off, and you can't say howdy doody a day early. That just doesn't work for me. And again, National Farm Animals Day. National Farm Animals Day. I don't know what the significance of that is, except that they all pretty much taste good. Probably, let's see. Let's go through the list. National Farm Animals Day. Okay, they have a picture of rooster. Favorite chicken dish, coq au vin. Rooster in red wine, basically. The French take the oldest, meanest rooster, or a hen, cut it up into 8 pieces, slow simmer it. Typically, it's a red wine. It's not just red wine. It's usually some stock, other garlic, herbs, so on and so forth. Cook that till it's done. Reduce the cooking liquid down into a sauce, and then, man, I'm telling you, it's one of my all-time favorite dishes. Lamb. Okay, nobody eats lamb. Well, they do eat lamb in other countries. Typically, you eat mutton, especially in the UK. Why? Because a lamb is young, has a long life ahead of it, and provides a lot of wool. So what do? You eat the old guy. Again, you slaughter the oldest, meanest, ugliest sheep in the herd, and that's it. They taste good. It's good. Braised lamb shank. probably one of the best dishes you can have. If you can find like a smoked lamb shake at your local grocer, then you can make like a shepherd's pie out of that. Instead of using ground meat, you can take that smoked lamb shank, heat it in the oven to kind of just warm it through, and then you can pull the meat off like pulled pork. Take that as your meat layer, and then you can take that you can take the bone, you can kind of brown it in a pan, put in your mirepoix, which would be carrots, onion, and celery. Put in a little, just a touch of red wine, some beef broth, or like lamb demi if you have it. Kind of get that flavor all rolling and make a gravy out of it, and then you pour that in, and then above that would go your peas, carrots, corn, whatever you traditionally put in your version of a shepherd's pie, with homemade mashed potatoes on top. Roast it in the oven till the whole thing is nice and heated through. You'll see the juices start to bubble up around the edge. Top it with some sharp cheddar cheese. Put it back in one more time to melt the cheese and brown. And you have yourself one of probably, I said lamb shanks, one of my favorite. My all-time favorite meal, I believe, is shepherd's pie. Especially if you throw a little sherry in there in the gravy, it's really good. Next one is pig. All right, they got a little suckling pig on here. Look, there's nothing, just bacon. Bacon, enough said. And next is cattle. Okay, so cow. Man, there's so many ways. Beef cheek is probably one of the most underrated dishes ever. And if you eat food, if you like tacos especially, a lot of taquerias, small taco shops, you can find them. And there's a great one right up the road here. Well, actually, there's one called Doc's Taco Shop, amazingly enough, which is okay. But across the street at a big Fuel City gas station is a taco shop, and they have barbacoa tacos. And if you've never had beef cheek, what did Stefan call it the other day on Trey's Chat on Live? He called it, on their old menu, they called it roast beef times 10. And it really is. It's one of the richest meats you can have. You know, one of the great things about those meats that are kind of really muscly, really get worked a lot and get a lot of exercise, is that when you slow cook them, they have an amazing rich flavor. And the only thing is you need enough time to cook them and make sure that they relax, right? You have to break down all that protein that's been worked so hard, all the connective tissue, everything that's in there. And it's fatty, it's rich, without ever being greasy. Beef cheek. I'm telling you, it's what's for dinner. It's one of my favorites. All right, I'm going to text and make sure that Cody's ready to call in today. Cody's such a great chef. It's a shame to see him leave the restaurant industry, but what is a good thing about his change, one of the great things is he's now providing quality and some of the most, not just quality, but outstanding, exotic, rare, exceptional products that any chef or any home cook can use in their kitchen. And if you haven't been to the Chef's Warehouse, I believe it's thechefswarehouse.com. Let me make sure. It's just, Chef's Warehouse. Yeah, Chef's Warehouse, not the Chef's Warehouse. Chef's, with an S, warehouse.com. And they have a ton of amazing products. He talked about, they have this great chocolate room that has like 250 or 300 exotic chocolates. I can't wait to go visit. I really can't. So, Cody, where's your invite? I'm giving free plugs. Tell him I need to take it down. All right? Call anytime. Sir, there we go. All right. Back to food news. We've talked about the four, I don't know, what other, all right, let's go back to, what other farm animals are there? Ducks, yes and no. The only time people keep geese really on a farm is typically for security purposes. I don't know if you know this, but geese are the best watchdogs out there. They're not just mean, they're loud. Geese are not friendly. I love to eat goose. Goose eggs are fine, as long as they're not a bump on your forehead. They're really, really strong. It's like a chicken egg times 10, the flavor or more. But geese they're not friendly. However, like I said, they do make great watchdogs. What other animals do we have on the farm? All right, I'm not on Facebook. I'm not watching, folks. So if you're commenting, just let me know by commenting. I will get on the page here. Check it out. Try and share one more time to my page and see if it actually takes today. Let's go to Spoony's page. What other animals are there? I mean, dogs and cats. You really don't want to eat your pets. So, I'm trying to think. What else? I think that's it. National Farm Animals Day was created in 2005 when animal rescuer, vegetarian, and celebrity pet lifestyle expert, by Colleen Page. So apparently, this was to raise awareness about the plight of slaughtered animals, and I kind of knew that. But I thought I'd talk about on the other side of that, why they taste so good and how you should prepare them. So I'm sorry. I'm very sorry, Colleen Page, that perhaps I did not celebrate in the spirit of the reason behind the day being deemed a national holiday or whatever national day. But man, farm animals taste good. Just saying. Okay, nothing else in food news today from National Day calendar. National Bookmobile Day. Oh, I'm wrong. I'm sorry. It is National Cinnamon Crescent Day. I have never had a cinnamon crescent roll. I love crescent rolls. When my mom used to make them, which she did not make from scratch, unfortunately, but when we would have them on the dinner table as a child, she would make one or, it was like two per person. You can't just eat two of those. I mean, they're smaller than a dinner roll, right? And you put that cinnamon in there. Let's see what that recipe calls for. So anyway, National Cinnamon Crescent Day is observed annually on April 10th. Crescent roll dough filled with sugar, cinnamon, and butter, then rolled, shaped, and baked to a golden brown deliciousness. Okay, but who created this? They don't know. But apparently, it's national. See, I think if you can't figure out who asked for this to be a holiday, then it shouldn't be a holiday or a nationally observed day. I wish it were a holiday. We should have more holidays where we get the day off, and it revolves around food. Let's see, Cody. Okay. Cody asked what the number is. It is 202. If I could remember. 202-939-90. You guys didn't hear that, right? 202-939-90. All right. I know you didn't hear that. So if you decide to call in, yeah, phone lines are open. No, they're closed. I'm sorry. So, yeah, phone lines are closed. 202-900-3990. Just saying. Yeah, I don't understand where these days come from. We should have, what should we have? We should have a National Spoony Radio Day. There we go. I think someone needs to lobby to have a National Spoony Radio Day. What do you think? Oh, looks like somebody's on the phone. Hold on just a second. Let's see who's there. Hello, this is Patrick.
Hey, this is Brian from Wa Imports out of Chicago. How you doing today?
Good,
brother?
Brian. How you doing, man?
Good, good. Thanks for having me call in.
No worries. So I thought Cody was going to call with you on the line, but this is just as good. You know, who needs Cody's input? I'm just
Cody's standing right next to me right now.
Oh, sorry, dude. I was trying to be rude for a second. I didn't realize you're there. How you doing, Cody? What's going on, man?
You know, living the dream always, dude. It's sunny and it's nice, and the wind's not blowing, so I can breathe today, which is always a positive. Yeah, you know, those Santa Ana winds are pretty nasty out there. But hey, if you call into the same line, we can put you both on if you want. I will do that right now.
Cool. All right, so let's. What's your first name again? I'm sorry, because it says Patty Hansen on accounting from the Black Friday Marathon. That's what I'm getting right now. That's an old message, but I'm sorry. What was your first name again?
Brian.
Brian. Okay. All right. So tell us about your product and the company. And you're based out of Chicago.
Yes, company's based out of Chicago. We import some high-end shoyus and citrus products and black garlic products from Japan and Asia and sell to chefs and restaurants all over the country.
So did you work with my buddy Chef Mark Hallier up there?
No.
Okay.
No.
So,
I'm actually based in Arizona.
Ah.
And travel the West Coast on behalf of Wa Imports. meeting with chefs, doing food shows, getting people excited about things like black garlic shoyu, black garlic molasses, first press yuzu juice. I haven't spent a lot of time in Chicago recently, but I've only been there a couple times, mostly to just eat my way through the city.
Well, no, he was with the Boca Group, and they have the restaurant Momotoro right there in the West Loop off like Randolph, that area where all the big restaurants are. Not all of them, but a lot of them, like Girl and Goat. It's been there a long time. He's moved on since. He was our corporate chef for a while, but I was just curious. That's one of my favorite restaurants there. So tell me, look, yuzu is one of my all-time favorite flavors. You know, I have a background in Japanese food. I studied in Japan. I worked with Nobu for an extended period of time. So what's special about the yuzu? First pressing is great, but you know, can you tell me about the sourcing, or is it just pure yuzu, or does it have any sort of preservatives or salt or anything in it?
No salt, no preservatives, pure yuzu. We do a bunch of yuzu products. We do yuzu marmalade. We do first press juice, second press juice. It is flash pasteurized. It has to be coming in from Japan right now.
Yeah.
You can't tell a difference when you do a side-by-side tasting with fresh juice. It also gives it a much longer shelf life. We also do yuzu puree. We have yuzu preserve.
Wait. Yuzu
all
puree?
Kinds of fun citrus products.
So what's in the puree? Is it just the pulp?
Just the fruit, whole fruit and water pureed.
That's awesome. So for you, those of you that don't understand what yuzu is, it's kind of a small, fairly hard citrus. It's kind of bumpy. It's got this bumpy surface on it, and there's very little juice inside. Typically, Japanese use the zest as a seasoning flavoring. It's very aromatic. The taste is similar to it's like lemon but softer, and it's not as, you know, it's different than lime too. It's not as astringent as lime either. Man, it is by far one of my it's the favorite citrus for me to use by far.
It's fantastic. It is fantastic. I used to buy them from a little Japanese lady in Irvine, California, when I was a chef in Orange County, and buy them to zest them.
Nice. And
product's amazing.
Where were you in Orange County?
We do. What's up?
Where were you in Orange County? Just curious.
I was working for Lowry. Lowry's Five Crowns, the prime rib group, Lowry Seasoned Salt. I ran one of their restaurants, and we launched a gastro pub called Side Door. They have one in Chicago with the Lowrys, and then they have one in Corona Del Mar, Newport Beach, California. Ran that for a couple of years. Spent a few extra years in the Manhattan Beach and Santa Monica area as a chef, and then got into food sales. It's really fun to introduce people to cool products with stories, because having been a chef yourself, think about this. What are you always questing for? Something new, something exciting.
Absolutely.
We're always launching new items. We're getting ready to do a Buddha hand puree. We do sugachi products.
That's so funny, because I talk about Buddha hand all the time, and how, you know, there's very little, there's not really a fruit inside of it, right? You have the zest, and you have a ton of pith, and then you have that tiny little core of what you would consider fruit, but really it's not enough to even be edible. But that is the most fragrant, aromatic citrus I've ever found. It is. I mean, I just like to put one in the kitchen, and it kind of makes the entire home smell like a party. It's like a big citrus candle, but it's not that strong. It's more balanced than that, right? It is. So how do you make this puree, and what's the use for that?
It's fruit and water. So we're launching a line under the Wa Imports brand out of Chicago. It's called Pacific Rim Puree. We're in the process of going live in the next couple of weeks. And the initial plan was to target breweries. Breweries are getting into doing fruit-based beers, and we're going to have 22 fruits: soursop, galangal, sudachi, calamansi, yuzu, Buddha hand. And we're targeting breweries, and then we're going after pastry chefs and mixologists, and of course savory chefs as well. It's starting to blow up, and we haven't even gotten the line ready to launch, but everybody have to keep an eye out for it, because it's fun stuff, and we're not adding chemicals, we're not adding preservatives, a little bit of cane sugar here and there to balance the bricks on fruit, because for a lot of people, they don't realize fruit changes from the season to season, or it's not available all year. So to make sure we're ensuring consistent quality, flavor profile, and sweetness, we'll add a little bit of cane sugar as needed, but that's it.
And so those
fruit and water.
Those that don't understand, the bricks are that's the way to measure the level of sugar content in any fruit. So it's BRIX, correct? Yeah. So I mean, how did you how did the company start? I mean, Wa Imports, they sound like that's a fairly established company. It's been around a while. And did they have an original product line that they've, of course, expanded to be this, I'm sure, like a giant broad line list of unique Asian products?
Well, great question. Dave is the founder of WA Imports. He used to import from Western Australia, and he had a specialty company that at one point he sold to U.S. Foods probably about 10, 15 years ago, and got into the importing business, met a lot of people in Asia, was struggling to bring in stuff from Australia, switched over to Japanese products, and it was called WA, and WA in Japanese translates to in harmony. So it kind of worked out. The joke is, can you imagine if the abbreviation meant something foul? We got really lucky. So we go WA Imports or WA Imports. But Dave has been questing all over Asia to bring in some amazing products for chefs to use. We even have whiskey barrel-aged soy sauce.
Oh, really?
Whiskey barrel-aged fish sauce. Yeah. We're using the Mizunara oak from Japanese whiskey.
Wow.
It's insane.
So we have about 5 minutes left in this segment, but I have a feeling we might run long on this if you have time. Can you hold over at the bottom of the hour for 2 minutes, and then we'll come back on the other side? Because I have some real serious questions about how to incorporate these in recipes and a way that home cooks might be able to incorporate a few of these unique ingredients. Look, I'm a Japanophile. I lived there. I trained there for sushi and washoku, Japanese food. So, by the way, in harmony, that wa is also the abbreviation. That's the prefix for anything that refers to Japan in general. Like Wagyu is Japanese beef, washoku is Japanese food, it all is encompassed in one little character in Japanese, which is pretty amazing. Let's talk about that a little bit. So the black garlic soy. Look, I love soy sauce of all sorts, whether it's dark soy, light soy, Thai light soy, sweet soy. There are 15 different varieties of soy. Chinese soy versus Japanese soy, and then you have the non-wheat based soy, right? That I don't like. I just use soy, so it doesn't really matter. But
tamari,
tamari. So it's good. It's just not soy. It's different. It's a very similar product, but it's not soy sauce. So this black garlic soy. Tell me a little bit about that because, well, first, black garlic's one of my favorite ingredients. People don't realize that it's got this kind of sweet, rich flavor to it. The look can be a little bit off-putting, but it's fantastic. Can you walk us through the process of first making black garlic and how they decided to incorporate that into this, or where they found this black garlic soy? Because I have to get some of that. I'm gonna create something off the charts with that one.
Yeah, well, we were just talking about the process with a chef at an omakase restaurant in Santa Ana. Everybody's recipe is a little bit different. You could use a rice cooker or a steamer, and you're basically fermenting the garlic at a low temperature. You're taking whole garlic and the clove, you're throwing it in this cooker at a low temperature with humidity, and you're fermenting the garlic. So the garlic's going to go from that traditional, off-white color we all know and love, and it turns black. Some people say it takes, 3 or 4 days. Some say 30 days. I've heard as high as 90 days. Slow and low, obviously, is the best way to do it to get that garlic fermented and nice and black.
Oh, you were a
chef. And it has this fermented sweet flavor. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You
slow and low, baby.
Slow and low. And if you ask a chef what their favorite color is and they don't say golden brown, walk away.
So true. So true.
So I'm sorry.
So then we're taking the black garlic. We're taking that black garlic. You pull it out of the cloves, or they pull the cloves out of the bulb, and then we mash it, and we take that paste and use that to work into the soy recipe, because the shoyu is just soy and water and alcohol and wheat, and you're just fermenting. So we're just working black garlic into that process and fermenting it, and it has this great flavor, and people are going nuts over it.
It sounds awesome.
And then we also do a black garlic molasses. The black garlic molasses is really fun because that's just a syrup. In Japan, they've done medicinal research and discovered black garlic has medical benefits for people battling Alzheimer's and dementia. So they're really big into processing down black garlic and giving it to people that are battling Alzheimer's. My boss was on one of his many trips to Japan and saw the process where they take black garlic that they fermented, make a paste out of it, put it into this machine, and press it at 10,000 psi. And it takes it down to this syrup viscosity. And you can use that to finish on anything, seafood, scallops, pork belly. Do a steamed bun with crispy pork belly with a little black garlic molasses on top, and you will have an excellent meal in your hands. So there's tons of fun stuff, and we think black garlic's only going to continue to grow in popularity in the U.S. as people discover not only is it delicious, but it has health benefits.
Well, and you look at the number of black garlic producers in the last 10 years, it's 100-fold at least, if not more than that. Hey, we got about 30 seconds. Hold on a minute. Hold tight. We'll be back in 2 minutes. We're going to take a quick break. Got to pay the bills, so we'll listen to our sponsors for a minute. And, hey, don't forget, folks, stay till the end of the show, because today I did forget yesterday to try this, the ghost pepper sauce, the Midland ghost pepper sauce that was sent to me by our, one of our listeners. And Travis, I swear I'll do it today. I will get to it. And if I cry like a baby, I'm going to blame you. But however, I won't cry like a baby because it'll be at the end of the show. So hold tight. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
Follow Chef Patrick Mosher on Twitter @Food Biz. If you're trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you've tried to fix your drinking and drug problem and you know you can't do it alone, you need to call the National Treatment Advisors. They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits with new habits and totally change your life. And if you have PPO private health insurance, the entire program may be covered. Fix your problem right now before it gets any worse. Get clean. Call now and learn more. 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252.
It looks like you're losing.
I am.
Are you losing weight?
I am losing. I've lost about 10 pounds.
How are you doing it?
Funny name, but I've done it with Riduzone. RIDUzone.com, and the stuff works. It's, you get into all that, the molecule this and the found in that. All I can tell you is it makes you feel full, and it keeps your mind off of wanting to overeat.
And also boosts your metabolism, so you're burning more.
Yeah,
Try it today. It's going to work for you like it's worked for Brad and countless other people. Riduzone.com. RIDUzone.com.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month, based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395.
And we're back. Those 2-minute breaks get shorter and shorter. That's fine. But we actually are coming back online here with we have Brian on the line. And you know what? I'm sorry. I think, Cody, I might have kept you muted through that conversation on the front half of the hour there. Sorry about that. Nope. Anybody there? Hello? Are you there? Well, they should be there. And let's see. Answer. I unmuted. All right, there you go. Now you're both there. I hear you. Yeah, they're like, hey, yeah, we can hear you. I should not be running the phones nor doing anything technical in the studio. I'll just tell you. That's why I was a chef, or am a chef.
Hey, pre-drink the whiskey. That's how you get things done right.
Well, I'm waiting till the second hour when I can open this bottle of wine. I'll have some wine for Wine Down Wednesday. But, if I start too early, then I'm asleep by like 7 o'clock. Yeah. I say I am. I don't, but I just can't function. I am getting no work done in the evening. So back to the black garlic at hand. So how many different black garlic products do you have? Just straight black garlic, I'm sure.
We have straight black garlic. We have black garlic juice, black garlic molasses, and black garlic shoyu. And we're moving into a larger facility in Chicago where we're going to have a bunch of equipment to make our own in large volume and start playing with other fun new things.
Sounds awesome. So
one of the items we're looking to do.
Go ahead, Cody.
I'm sorry, but one of the items we're looking to do is black garlic cheese, black garlic butter, things that chefs would love but may not have the time to make in the hustle and bustle of the day-to-day of running a restaurant. So keep an eye out for that kind of stuff in the next year or two.
That's awesome. Black garlic butter. So, yeah. So let's talk about some of these products. Well, first and foremost, how can people find you? Is this only for commercial use, or can people order as individuals if they order a minimum?
So we don't have a huge retail presence yet. So we do have a website, a secondary website called Nishiki Pacific, NISHIKI Pacific.com. That, you're listening to this interview today and you want to go buy a bottle of black garlic shoyu for yourself, go check out our site, and that is our retail. We are in talks with some of the big companies long term to have some retail size products on shelves down the road if I do my job right, creating the demand and the buzz. And then you can find us at waimports.com, just for general site, see who we are.
Nice.
And we're working on developing a social media presence as well, so you can follow what we do and see how we use the product. I'm
looking at the bonito, the whole bonito, loin and the bonito flakes there. That's the very first picture that pops up, and I'm so hungry right now. I had been out. So for like the first 4 months of doing the show, 5 months, I did not eat before the show, which was stupid, of course. So I'd talk about food. I'd be starving by the time I got off the show. I started eating. I have a bagel or, at least a yogurt and some fruit before the show. I'm fine. But today, of course, what did I not do? I didn't eat. I knew you were coming on. I'm looking at the soy paste, the whole spices, the black garlic, and I'm just hungry right now. I can't even tell you. So you have some things here like the miso premium ramen soup base. For people that don't, there's the base of most Japanese sauces and soups is called ichiban dashi. Ichiban dashi is you take these bonito flakes. It's this finely shaved bonito tuna that's been dried, sometimes smoked. You shave that into these thinner than paper flakes. Sometimes you see it on top of sushi rolls and things like that. But then you take that and you steep it in this water that's been brought to a boiling point with kombu, which is a piece of dried kelp, and then you let those settle. And that, once strained, that's the base. The thing is, how many people go to their grocery store, buy the bonito flakes, are going to make the ichiban dashi, soup base, and then go ahead and make ramen soup, your soup broth or whatever else from that. You don't have to. I mean, this looks like a fairly reasonable product. This the soup base that you have looks concentrated. So, how much does that equivalent to? How many servings? I'm looking here. It's a 10-to-1.
If you're looking at the bottles on the site,
that's a 10-to-1.
There's a large one that's 10-to-1, and then there's a retail one that's ready to go, a small bottle, and you can find it at Central Markets in Texas.
Hey, there. So
we do one that's a retail.
Central Market's one of my favorites. I was a private chef for a couple of years for a billionaire down in Houston, and I had to shop twice a day, every day, 6 days a week for him because I never knew what he was going to have for his next meal until 2 hours before. And I'll tell you, if Central Market carries your product, then it's a quality product because they don't carry anything really that's not top notch.
Yes, I believe there's the matsutake ramen base, the scallop, miso, and a pork are the ones that are available via retail. It's one bottle, one portion, and that's ready to go for any home cook at Central Market in Texas. And then we're obviously working on getting that to grow outside of that market into other companies.
Awesome stuff. So I'm looking at the website, but I want you to talk about some other stuff. What else do you have that's unique that one might not be able to find even at an Asian grocer here? Because I'll be honest, in Texas, we have kind of the big like the larger. There are a few larger Asian grocers, not Japanese specific. Japanese products are difficult to find here unless you're commercial or you have a restaurant and you're a wholesale buyer. Central Market has a decent selection, and there's one small store called Nippon Daido in Japan, in Osaka. Geez, I'm thinking of Japan now, but in Houston. Other than that, there aren't really these Japanese shops. So, what other amazing products do you have? I see under citrus you have juice, puree, marmalade, yuzu kosho, and yuzu syrup. What about the yuzu syrup? Tell me about the yuzu syrup.
That's just a straight syrup from the yuzu. We're just pureeing it and making the syrup out of it, processing it down, reducing it down, and making syrup. It's a super concentrated version of yuzu, which is already, as you described earlier, pretty strong citrus. Have you seen the yuzu preserve on there?
I haven't. So I'm looking here. Is that going to be under the marmalades? Probably, yeah. Let me see here.
Possibly. And it's a new item we just launched. So you're asking about cool new stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The yuzu syrup is fantastic. The marmalade is fantastic. But the preserve is going to be something fun and new because a lot of chefs like to make their own preserves, lemon preserve, and it takes a couple weeks, and you got to let it sit in a mason jar. Well, we're doing that with yuzu, and I don't know if anybody else doing that yet. That's going to be really fun, exciting products to look out for. Also, looking through some of the shoyus, we do a Sakura cherry blossom shoyu. We do that Mizunara whiskey barrel aged shoyu. It's aged for 6 months in Japanese whiskey barrels. Then we also have the awashi fish sauce aged in whiskey oak barrels. We have a line of misos that's pretty interesting. We do a fig miso. We do a yuzu miso. We do a chocolate miso, in addition to the traditionals that, the white and the red that everybody knows. And
yeah, I'm seeing there's so much stuff in here. I see this aloe the aloe marmalade. That's
aloe marmalade, ginger marmalade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, this is some really unique stuff. Wow. Togarashi curry, salts, furikake, matcha. Let's see what are fermented here. What do we have under fermented here for spice and salts? So you've got
there's a kombu sea salt.
And I see the koji rice, the koji as well. The dried.
Yep.
That's pretty cool stuff. So you can change the flavor. Like I know if you marinate or like do a rub on a steak with that and marinate it kind of gives it this I don't know, it's a flavor I can't describe so much, but it gives it this very unique flavor. I think a lot of people do that. Namashio koji, that's man, you have all sorts of really cool stuff. Yep. You have sake lees as well. Wow.
Yes.
Man, I got a million ideas right now. I wish I had a full kitchen here. I can't wait till we have our kitchen studio built. We'll have to bring you and Cody in, and we'll make some really cool stuff.
Absolutely.
So again, I'm going to go ahead.
Cody, you down to go?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Cody, you down to go cook in his kitchen when it's ready to go? As soon as we're there, we'll fly out to Dallas, man. It's a done deal. You bring the Wagyu and the marmalade, and we'll make it happen.
So, actually, I don't know if you know Kent Rathbun is a chef here in town. He's local. He actually was on Iron Chef a long time. Well, not a long time ago, years ago, with his brother out of Atlanta, and they did, it was the Elk Challenge where they went against Bobby Flay, and it was one of the top 10 moments in Food Network history as far as the Iron Chef goes. Anyway, he's got this kitchen. I'll send you the pictures. He's got a kitchen in his home that's nicer than most restaurant kitchens. It's unbelievable. I thought his outdoor kitchen was cool. I just saw the indoor kitchen pictures today. I say we call Kent. He's got a great new Asian restaurant here called Imoto. Actually, I'm going to put him in touch with you, Brian, if you don't mind, or through you, Cody, which way, either way. And he's got this great new restaurant in downtown Dallas called Imoto. And this product line is right up his alley. I think you'd really appreciate it. But we should touch base. Maybe we'll get to go cook in his kitchen because I'm telling you, I cannot wait. Matter of fact, I got a friend that's going to come down. They're shooting for this Australian radio show. They're shooting a segment on cooking squirrel brains. And my buddy Joe Wilson out of Arkansas said, hey, do you know anywhere I can do this? He does the World Squirrel Championship cook-off or Champion cook-off up in Bentonville, Arkansas every year. So I think that we need to work together to use some of these flavorings to create a dish. We may not win, but what a hell of a lot of fun it would be to represent Nishiki Pacific products at that event and just have some fun.
We'll just spank them up. We're good. We'll win it all.
Dude, last time I did I did a
like that.
I did I did a 5-spice squirrel sushi hand roll. Right. Of course, it wasn't raw; it was grilled. But I did a paillard. Did some 5-spice on there, and I did a maple teriyaki sauce with that. It was actually pretty damn good. I didn't win, but hey, I didn't finish last.
Squirrel hot dog, dude. I'm in.
That works for me. Brian, I'm going to go ahead and put this information out there. Anytime you want to post something to the page, it's Spoony Radio on Facebook, Instagram, anywhere like that. Go ahead and tag us, share us, and we'll go ahead and boost your social media presence as well as best we can. But man, thanks for sharing. I expect you, Cody, to get some samples and share. Okay. That's all I can say.
Absolutely. I will do so. Done deal, brother.
All right, man. Hey, good to hear your voice. Can't wait to hear your next segment. I think you launch again tomorrow night, right?
Absolutely, dude. We're coming in hot right now. I got 2 new shows that kind of took a turn. Another one with David Mao, which was an excellent chef who does the High Sierras this week, kind of backpacking and doing some other things. He's also opening a place in Palm Springs. So you get to hear me yap about some cool stuff that he's doing, which is awesome.
Awesome stuff. Hey, Brian, again, thank you very much. I appreciate you being on the show under such short notice. Cody, I just texted him this morning. He said, hey, I got someone I'm talking to about this, and this. And I was like, that's my kind of stuff. Even if you listeners really weren't enthralled, try it anyway. Expand your horizons. It's good stuff. All right, man.
Thank you so much for having me on. Total blast.
Hey, anytime you've got the number, just get my personal number from Cody. Anytime you call in with a new product or some update, just text me and I'll open the phone lines, okay?
You got it, brother. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Yep. Have a good day.
Thanks. All right. So, I do love Japanese food. I love Asian products. It's the simplicity, I think, of Japanese food that I love so much. You taste what's on the plate. Chef Stefan was in the studio last week with Trey Chapman on Trey's Chat On. Sorry, I had a little brain fart there, but they were talking about Chef Stefan didn't go to culinary school. His dad was always in the business. He kind of just grew up under his dad's tutelage. He finally jumped into the business at one point and kind of grew into it. What was interesting that I've said this before. We actually had a conversation before the show. I was just talking to Trey Chapman about that before Chef Stefan came in. And he said, when you get out of culinary school, you go in a restaurant, you think you know it all. Trust me, you don't. And he's right. Because what happens is you're very artistically stimulated when you come out of culinary school or any sort of environment like that where you're challenged on a daily basis to kind of push the boundaries, test your limits, and create something you've never done before. The problem is you typically haven't perfected the dishes that other people or even perfected the techniques that you've been taught in school, the basics. And so creating something totally new and off the charts is unlikely until you master those basics, and until you can master those basics in a way that allows you to incorporate all of those or several of those in not just one dish at one time. He said, when you come out of culinary school, you learn to cook one dish perfectly. It doesn't teach you how to cook multiple dishes at the same time perfectly, which is right. Knowing your basics. I don't care what you do. There's the 10,000 hour principle. My son was a very good tennis player, and he got very frustrated. He wanted nothing more in life, more than anything in life. Smart kid, and my daughter too, but she wasn't as much into athletics. He loved tennis. He wanted more than anything in life to be a professional tennis player. Really. He had the build, 6'2", kind of a lightweight. He was gaining weight. He had physically training himself to become stronger and become a really great tennis player. But he, you need, again, 10,000 hours. The average worker works 40 hours a week, 50 weeks a year, 2 weeks vacation. That's 2,000 hours a year. You extrapolate that out. That's 5 years of solid 40-hour-a-week dedication. Now, most tennis players can't play, especially if you're in school or you're, have your own profession. But if you want to put in that 10,000 hours and make it work, you need 10 years if you're doing 20 or 25 hours a week, right? And so we had that discussion. I said, look, if you want to get to that level, then you need to dedicate the majority of your day to doing that. I mean, there are tennis camps, there are tennis schools, there are, basically tennis facilities where you can live full time and play tennis 8 hours a day. You study 3 hours a day intensively with tutors, and it's the same as going to a college prep school. Well, it's the same dedication you need in any career. This career is no different. Brian brought up, having been a chef. He said, having been a chef, I am still a chef. I'm still actively cooking, just not at my own restaurant full time. I look every single day. I know y'all don't know this. I spend hours every day, not going down rabbit holes, but anything I'm reading about as show prep or just other things that I need to learn and know about, keep up to date on for the business here, because we have 2 channels now. We have a third channel, actually. Odyssey One is the other one, the newest one. We may be doing something sports related soon too. So keep your eyes peeled and your ears open. But I probably spend out of the literally 16 to 18 hours a day I spend working on this. I spend at least 3 or 4 of that in education about my trade, the business of business, and just basically expanding my horizons, opening my mind to understand new concepts, new products, and learning about the influencers in this trade. You have to challenge yourself daily. If you're a cook out there or you're a chef, a young aspiring chef, one of the most beneficial things to me is every single day I would walk into the kitchen, find something that I didn't use on a daily basis. If I couldn't find anything, I would make sure that I had brought something in from a grocer or retailer. Maybe I got a sample of something from a distributor that I used. I would every day try to cook something I'd never cooked before or use an ingredient I'd never used before and try to incorporate that into something I did, a current dish that I had on the menu or that I was working on. If you don't challenge it, what's the old adage? If you're not growing, you're dying? Absolutely. So I'm going to post this website. Yeah, look, I get nothing out of this. I just heard about Nishiki Pacific WA Imports. I heard about them today. Now, I may have in the past heard of them because I've worked with a lot of Japanese vendors, a lot of Asian vendors, but I don't recall if I did because I've slept since then. So I challenge you, you don't have to use something from their website, but look and see. See if something inspires you to, if you don't cook much, well, maybe use one of their condiments, one of their products on something that you do cook or that you do like to purchase and eat at home. You can take those prepared meals you get in grocery stores that are $6. It's typically like a 3 or 4 ounce piece of protein, and they'll have some other vegetables and maybe a flavored butter on top. Typically, there's asparagus or mashed potatoes or something with it. A lot of times, that what they're doing is they're trying not to lose any product from the fresh meat and seafood counter, and then you basically it comes in a little gold foil container. You just throw it in the oven at 425 or 375 for 10, 12, 16 minutes. Comes out, it's perfect. Okay, but think about next time you buy one of those, or you take out your favorite meal that you've prepared at home. Maybe it's just steak and potatoes, or whatever it is. Think about, okay, what flavor could I put on this that would enhance it? What would pair well with this? If I typically eat this and I drink this, what's that third flavor that's missing? That component that takes this over the top. There's something very rewarding in, I don't want to say improving, taking the time to, I don't want to say evaluate either, but look at, taste, really taste the food that you eat. I say it at the end of almost every show, be kind to yourself, you are what you eat. I mean that. So why eat crap? Or why eat food that isn't, I don't want to say over the top, but over the top. Enjoy it. I typically have a modest breakfast and lunch, but at dinner, when I'm not working all night, I really like to sit down and enjoy something that's a fully composed meal. And you can take that any way you want. It can have, I'm going to try one more time, listen or die. Oh, didn't work that way. I don't know why I can't share to my own Facebook page. All right. Not die, starve. Listen or die. Listen or die. No, listen or starve. Starve, I said. Why eat mediocre? Seriously. There's so many things that you can enjoy out there. Little tiny tweaks make good food great, right? It's like peanut butter and jelly. All right, if you're having peanut butter and jelly, then what's the what jelly? What jelly do you use, right? Why not use, do you use Smuckers? Do you use the cheap Bama? Look, nothing, not knocking Bama. Do you use the Bama? Do you use Bama simple, jelly, the standard old grape jelly that they have? They do some other great apricot stuff and things like that. Do you do that? Or do you go out and you go to like, look, the Jelly Queens, right? Donna. Local here in Dallas. Do you go on their website and order something? Or do you go to Central Market or another gourmet retailer in your area and you get something that's unique and flavorful? Do you know what? Do you go to Nostalgia or SpoonyWildRice.com? and order one of their gems. I mean, this is Gold Imperial IPA beer jelly. Really? I mean, how does that night take your meal to the next level? Whether it's a PB&J, oh, I like to have a beer with my peanut butter and jelly. However, I'm not always in a position to be able to have that. I don't know why. I just like to have the PB&J, and something about that sweet and kind of the creamy salty of the peanut butter. I like it. I like to chase it down with, and it doesn't have to be something fancy. Just a cheap old beer works. It's just something from my younger days that I did on a regular basis. That and some potato chips. That's a good just sit down meal for me. An average lunch when I'm just kicking back during the middle of a workday. But I think you wouldn't have to have that because this really does have the flavor of the beer in it. It doesn't overpower anything. It still tastes like jam. You know what? That golden citrus, spice, blueberry, those hints in there, man, I think that's a good call. So, Nostalgia Wild Rice, that's SpoonyWildRice.com. Go ahead and try it. I'm not sure if it works. Lori, I'm sorry if I'm getting this wrong, but it's Spring 10. I also failed to call Tom, our VP of Sales, last night and discuss. I did call him. We had a discussion, but it did not involve the new promo code. So try Spring 10 at Nostalgia. It's Nostalgia or SpoonyWildRice.com. Check it out. They have all sorts of wonderful stuff. I was going to make something for the show today, but I got wrapped up in some other stuff. I want to make their spoon bread tomorrow, their pan bread, and I'm going to make a couple of things to put on top of that. So I may make those tonight, bring them and heat them up tomorrow. I'm going to be, I have an idea. Because I'm going to make some roast chicken tonight with the porcini mashed potatoes that we spoke about before. Because, again, that little addition, the dried porcini mushrooms, rather, put in there with some good cream, good butter, that takes your meal over. That's not just mashed potatoes anymore. Now that's the top of the top for mashed potatoes, right? That's some good stuff, in my opinion. So anyway, push yourself, push the envelope, test yourself. People always say, I have a very limited diet, or I don't like a lot of food. Okay, well, you don't eat crab. Have you ever had crab? No, I don't like crab. Really? But you don't eat it because you don't like it? Nah, I don't like it. Okay. Well, how about, have you had shrimp? No. I don't like shrimp. I don't like shrimp. Like, why don't you like shrimp? I just don't like it. Well, have you ever had it? No. Are you Jewish? No. Just saying. That could be a reason, right? What if you're kosher? That's fine. I get it. Okay. Well, how about lamb? No, lamb's gamey. Lamb's gamey. Have you ever had lamb? No, but I've heard it's gamey. Okay. Well, actually, the lamb raised now, like Colorado lamb, is Colorado lamb. It's not gamey. You know what's gamey? That old mutton, that old, angry, snaggle-toothed, gnarled-horned ram that we used to have on the farm, right? That's gamey. It tastes mean. I mean, I like that, but it tastes mean. It tastes like it ate another sheep, right? That lamb that we have now it's so smooth. It's like it's very much like beef. Somewhere between bison and beef. Even bison. Have you had bison? Buffalo? No, it just sounds funky. Okay, sounds funky? Sounds funky? You'll eat a turnip, but you won't eat bison? Yeah. Okay, turnip grows in the ground where, all the animals poop and pee on it. I mean, really, what is if you're not vegan and you won't try new proteins, how do you convince yourself to do that? I know some people that'll do anything. They'll eat anything, not to extreme. One of my buddies, he's on the Wahlburger show. Great guy, by the way. Really nice guy. Hard to understand, but really great guy from South Boston. I need to call him and get him on the air. Yeah, he's a fun guy. We worked on his show here together in a couple months ago. He's doing a show, Nacho Takes Texas, Nacho Extreme Takes Texas, or Nacho Extreme Texas, something like that. I'll put some trailers out there when I have some edited down. I need some audio over it. That dude will eat anything. I'll eat almost anything. I don't want to eat anything that's going to break my teeth or scar my innards, like the Carolina Reaper sauce or something like that. Although I can't wait to try this sauce today. I'm really kind of anxious. Challenge yourself. Really. Peanut butter jelly with grape, try strawberry. Add a banana. Just try something new, please. Or if you cook for your family every night, but you have that same, I was speaking to somebody last night. They said, in my family, every Monday was meatloaf. Every Tuesday was this. Every Wednesday, every Thursday, every Friday, it was leftovers. Every Saturday, we were all on our own. Now, the good thing is at least their family sat down, right? If their family sat down, they all ate a meal together. And, that's awesome. They ate together, God bless them. That's awesome. And they had the same, because family meal is important. And if you haven't listened to Family Meal, by the way, there's a show on directly before mine, Mark Conway. Matter of fact, you had Jay Ducote on today. Great chef, food, basically a food persona that you need to know. He does a really great tailgating show right now. He's a gentleman that came out of LSU, Baton Rouge area down there. But today's show actually had him on there doing the interview. So check that out. It's a great show. He'll be on, he was just live now. I think he comes back on at 9 Eastern, 10 Eastern, something like that. But check out Mark's show, Mark Conway. That's Family Table right here on Spoony Radio. He's on a couple other platforms as well. Spreaker. I don't know if we upload him to Spreaker yet or not, but he should be up pretty soon. We're getting all the show hosts up. All right, hey, we're coming up to a hard break here. 4-minute break. Got to pay the bills. Listen to some sponsors, and we'll be right back. But think about that. Challenge yourself. Eat something new. Try something new. Cook something new. It's fun. I promise. I swear. All right. Patrick Mosher, Food Biz Pro. Listen or starve. That's all I can tell you. I got all the answers, or at least I pretend I do. We'll talk to you in a few minutes.
This is the only 24-hour take-anywhere platform dedicated to food and fun. We're Spoony.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. Attorney General William Barr on Capitol Hill for a second straight day. Rhode Island Senator Jack Reed asked Barr if he agrees with President Trump calling the Mueller investigation an illegal witch hunt.
It really depends on where you're sitting. If you are somebody who is being falsely accused of something, you would tend to view the investigation as
well. You're sitting as the Attorney General of the United States with the constitutional responsibility. So if you could answer in that regard.
Well, I'm not going to characterize it is what it is. Mueller and his team conducted an investigation and are issuing a report.
Barr spoke to a Senate Appropriations Subcommittee. As Benjamin Netanyahu appears headed for another term as Israeli Prime Minister, President Trump says it's a positive sign for peace between the Israelis and the Palestinians.
Everyone said, and I never made it a promise, but everybody said you can't have peace in the Middle East with Israel and the Palestinians. I think we have a chance, and I think we have now a better chance with Bibi having won.
Netanyahu's opposition is conceding defeat. Also at townhall.com, consumer prices have been climbing lately.
Consumer prices climbed 0.4% in March, with energy prices accounting for most of the spike. The Labor Department says the Consumer Price Index rose a healthy 1.9% compared with March of last year. Inflation has been relatively modest even as the job market has strengthened over the past several years, and the March number is just below the Fed's 2% target. Still, that's eating into recent wage growth. Wages have increased just 1.3% in the past year. The Trump administration has been highlighting the meager inflation as the president calls on the Fed to cut its key short-term rates. Ben Thomas, Washington.
On Wall Street, stocks remain mixed. The Dow is down 4 points. The NASDAQ ahead 43. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Now you can fly anywhere in the world and pay discount prices on your airline tickets. Book a flight today to London, Paris, Madrid, or anywhere else you want to go and pay a lot less guaranteed. Call the International Travel Department right now at Low Cost Airlines.
800-452-1075. 800-452-1075. That's 800-452-1075. Got an old car? You can donate it, whether it's running or not, to the United Breast Cancer Foundation and save a life. They'll even come and pick it up for free. The United Breast Cancer Foundation has saved hundreds of women's lives through their free or low-cost breast screen exams. But now they need your help. The United Breast Cancer Foundation wants to save more lives through early detection by offering women free or low-cost breast screening exams. And donating your old car, SUV, or truck, whether it's running or not, helps pay for them. Plus, you get a charitable tax deduction. Help the United Breast Cancer Foundation save lives by donating your old car, SUV, or truck. Call now for free pickup. 800-245-0823. 800-245-0823. 800-245-0823. Call right now. That number again is 800-245-0823.
Never Forgotten Apparel is more than just a premium women's and men's clothing line. It's a movement to remind us to wear American-made and serve those who serve us. Our heroes. Never Forgotten Apparel gives 20% of their total sales to nonprofits that support homeless veterans and off-duty firefighters, and 50% to individual veterans and firefighters in need nationwide. Check out neverforgottenapparel.com. Use promo code MATT, M-A-T-T, and get 15% off your purchase.
All right, back for hour two, third course of today's show. Welcome back. Chef Patrick Mosher here. Ooh, only a half an hour till Laura Nowicki Geen calls in from Ramo de Olivo up in Bentonville, Arkansas. Yes, I know I talk about Bentonville all the time, but for such a tiny little town, it's kind of a hotbed of all sorts of wonderful stuff: innovation, fine dining, casual dining, and just all around great concepts such as Ramo de Olivo. So Ramo is a fantastic wine bar. They have this great half their store is they have retail, then they have a wine bar, and then they have this fantastic area that has all these vinegars and olive oils, fantastic stuff. Some of the vinegars, man, they had this one that was like pear habanero. It was phenomenal. One of the best vinegars I've ever had. Awesome stuff. Again, somewhere around between 30 and 50 varieties of both the vinegars. I probably 20 to 30. I'll ask her when she's on the air. 20 to 30, maybe more varietals of the olive oil. Fantastic stuff. Not all. I think pretty much all out of California. Anyway, Ramo de Olivo. You can find them on Facebook. You can find them online. I think you can probably get stuff mail ordered too if you like. All right, so we were talking earlier about challenging your palate. I don't mean go crazy with that, but really, as simple. So I want to talk tonight. I'm going to make roast chicken tonight. I'm going to take a whole chicken, a fryer chicken, or a roaster if I can find a larger chicken. I will cut it in half. Take just the breastbone, just the breastbone out, or the back, or just the backbone rather, and that's it. Cut it in half from the breast side. Open it up. Cut that backbone out, and that's all I'm going to do. The chicken, I will salt and pepper, olive oil, salt, pepper, paprika, garlic powder, onion powder. That's it. It's going to get roasted that way. Eventually, I'll put a little water in the bottom of the pan, cover it, let it steam a little bit to keep it nice and moist. I'll pull that off and let it brown for another 20 minutes. Done. But then I'm going to make mashed potatoes. And these mashed potatoes, I spoke about, I think a week or two ago. But porcini mashed potatoes. This is an example of taking a standard side dish that you have on your menu, on your table, and elevating that. Now, again, my friend wasn't really complaining, but they're telling me about having the same thing for dinner every week. Each Monday was the same. It was meatloaf. Every Tuesday was this. Every Wednesday was this. Every Thursday, every Friday was leftover. Saturday they were on their own. Everyone for themselves, which is kind of normal. But what if you make a little change? Maybe on Monday when you have meatloaf, then you instead of doing regular mashed potatoes, you do porcini mashed potatoes. Here's the recipe. We'll keep it simple. I talked about using a ricer, all that fancy stuff. Look, mash the potatoes however you want. But at the end, you're going to take your these dried porcini mushrooms and you chop them up very finely. They're kind of a pain in the rear to chop. You can put them in a little food processor and just pulse it. You don't want to powder. You kind of want little little flecks of the porcinis to be visible in the potatoes, because you want that flavor, that texture too. So you take the porcini mushrooms, you chop them up finely, and you soak them in pretty much boiling water. I mean, really hot. You just want slightly more than you need to cover the porcinis. So if you're going to make, say, 1 gallon of potatoes, like 2 pounds, probably 3 pounds of potatoes, 4 pounds, 3 pounds. I always make a bunch. I don't know. But 3 pounds would probably give you about a gallon. Then you take those, you're going to need about, by the end, probably 3 to 4 tablespoons, about 1 tablespoon per quart of the finished product, right? So for 3/4 pound, you need about a tablespoon of the mushrooms diced up. Right, so then you take those, you soak them in hot water, and you take that, you don't use the liquid in them, but what you're going to do is, once they probably have to soak for about an hour, sometimes more, depending on how dry they are and how the liquid is. But you want to soak them till they're soft, and you want it done before the potatoes are ready before you're ready to mix everything in. So what I do is, after you've got the potatoes out of the steamer, or if you're boiling them, you've started to break them up in the pan, and I typically mash them before adding the cream and milk a little bit, and then I add the cream and milk and mash them. I like my potatoes a little lumpy. It's okay. I like to hand mash them with just a little, steel or plastic, masher. I think that's what it's called, a masher. It's not a potato crusher. It's got to be a potato masher. So I need to look up those common kitchen tools, the gadgets that you use. You'd think I'd know all the names, but there are a few I don't know. It's got to be a potato masher. So you before putting the milk and cream and butter in, or the cream, I usually use mostly cream, a splash of milk, and then the butter. Okay, what I do this time is I actually take the cream and the butter, I put them in a saute pan. Yes, a saute pan, and I'll take the porcini mushrooms after they've been strained and throw them in that. You want to infuse the cream a little bit with that if you can. Right? What happens is then you get a better flavor profile. It's mixed throughout the potatoes in a way that's more, and I'm sorry, I'm not looking at the camera. I'm actually inviting people to come watch what we're doing. Yep, even Ron Phillips, producer Ron, gets invited. So that way, once you start to incorporate all this, again, the flavors are mixed more evenly than if you just add the cream and the butter directly into the pot. And especially, you really want to scald the cream first, so you bring it just to that point of almost boiling when you start to get the bubbles around the edge of the pan. If you don't scald it first, it can, unlikely with potatoes, but you can curdle the cream. I don't know if you've ever taken cold cream and put in a really steaming hot cup of coffee, and you get those little floaters on the top, those little white, congealed. A lot of it's, some of it's protein, some of it's fat, but you've curdled that cream on the top. It may not taste sour, but you have. And that was actually a common thing in Japan because they make their coffee so hot. But anyway, so you take all of that after you just bring the cream up to just to a simmer, and then you got the butter starts to melt in, you've got the porcinis in there, it just comes to a simmer, and you turn it off. You don't want to boil it, just turn it off. Let the porcini sit in there for a minute or two, and then pour the whole thing into the potato mixture. Now, for that much potatoes, 3 pounds, you probably need about a cup to a cup and a half of, a cup of cream, maybe a half cup of milk. You can actually reserve the milk if you want. Just heat that and pour it in after. That way you don't get too, your potatoes don't come out too liquidy, too runny. And for that, I would use, honestly, 3/4 of a stick of butter to a stick of butter. That's just, I like butter. I like butter a lot. Matter of fact, I like butter probably as much or more than Julia Childs used to. I like butter a lot. You know, one of the classic pairings on television was they had Jacques Pepin, this great master French chef, very classic. And although Julia Childs had studied in France and actually had a cooking school at one point, her husband was in intelligence in World War II. They were stationed in France. She needed something to do and thus went to cooking school. So but they were on air together. I think it was on PBS, and one of my all-time favorite shows. You have this very classical straight-laced Jacques Pepin, and you have the over-the-top personality of Julia Childs. Oh man, fantastic! And she lightened him up a little bit. I actually ran over Jacques Pepin in a bathroom at the Sheraton property up there. What was it? Oh, it was called the Starwood at that time. Property in Aspen, Colorado, during the Food and Wine Festival. I opened the bathroom door. There he was. I just ran right over him. I knocked him down, and I took my hand and helped him up. And he laughed it off, thank goodness, because you don't want to piss off a master chef from France. My career would have went nowhere. But he was pretty serious in the kitchen. He's fun, but he's still kind of serious. And to have Julia there to lighten that up was fantastic. What a great show. If you haven't ever seen that, you can probably find some clips on YouTube. I don't know if you can find it on one of the over-the-top platforms that you can over-the-top, meaning like, well, see, now I invited a bunch of people, and I'm trying to invite others. Now everything disappeared. I guess I got to my limit of people I can invite. I don't understand. Stephen Airy says, he goes, ran over Jacques, almost like you railroad. I get the humor there, almost like you railroaded him. Dun, dun, dun. Wish I had a train horn. Doc would be proud. Yeah, still a sad story. Totally preventable. I'm just saying. Totally preventable, Doc. Yeah, Jacques Pepin, great chef. Julia Childs, entertaining chef. But back to the mashed potatoes. When you're okay, here's a basic lesson. I talked about mastering the basics. Look, you got the idea of porcini mashed potatoes. You don't need put as much porcini in there as you want. If you get too much, you'll know. Put as much cream and butter in there. If you get too much, you'll know. It's okay. Just add it slowly. You'll know when you have enough in there. All right, not a problem. One thing though is adding cold and hot liquids together typically doesn't bode well, right? And one of the reasons is there are a couple things. There are a few things that happen in particular, especially when you have a thickening starch or something like that, or you have something that has both fat and protein that can break, like dairy. So by when you have something like cornstarch, you're adding a slurry, right? When you mix cornstarch and water, you're mixing that into something you're trying to thicken, like gravy. You really want to do two things, right? Ultimately, you should temper that slurry. And by temper, I mean bring it up to temperature, something close to the temperature of the liquid that you're trying to incorporate it into. So what happens? You ever make gravy and the gravy turns out lumpy because one of two things. You added the slurry, this cornstarch water mixture, too quickly. You couldn't stir fast enough, which is really likely to happen. Okay, Laura's asking me, what do I know about aperitivos? Not enough. Okay, apparently, good. It's a good topic. Matter of fact, you know what? I actually have cassis liqueur back there. I'll have some of this Bogle, but I might just go ahead and have a little cassis. I wonder if I have some soda or anything like that in the fridge I could pair that with. Cassis being black currant. So, all right. When you're putting two liquids together, it's important that you have them close to the same temperature. If it's what we're talking about now with like something like dairy, if you're trying to take a starch and you're putting it into a hot liquid and thicken it, because here's why. You either get lumpy stuff if you don't, right? Like you've all done gravy where you take your, if it's not a slurry mixture of cornstarch and water, then you have something like milk and flour, okay? Which really, there's a better way to do that where you don't put that directly into the liquid, right? If you can't, well, if you're making something where the liquid's already in the pan, that's fine. But here's the thing, temper it. By temper, I mean bring it up to temperature first. So if you use like a shaker cup to mix your milk and your flour and whatever seasoning you're using to thicken a gravy or something else, that's great. But don't use that container to pour it into the hot liquid. Here's why. It's much better and easier to bring up to temperature if you have a bowl, a glass or metal bowl. Pour your thickening slurry in there. I don't care if whichever slurry it is, that mixture of your starch and your liquid that's going to thicken the hot liquid. Put it in a bowl and then slowly ladle in the hot liquid to raise the temperature of your slurry until, maybe at least if you have, say, a cup of slurry, you want to put in ultimately slowly pouring in and stirring the whole time, whisking the whole time. You want to get enough in there till it starts to show it starts to steam a little bit, right? You have some of the heat evaporation coming off there, evaporation from the heat coming off there. Then you can take that and incorporate that whole thing into your pot or your pan of boiling or simmering liquid. It's Derry O'Connor. She's going to be in studio actually tomorrow. She said, "Yep, done the lumpy gravy a few times. I've done it thousands of times. It's a pretty common occurrence. Happens all the time. It makes things much smoother." So one time I was working at this place called Shooting Star. It was a little Japanese fast food restaurant, which was cool because we made everything from scratch there. It's in Mesa, Arizona, just east of it's on the border of Mesa and Tempe, where Tempe being where I was going to university at the time. My roommate Koji, obviously another Japanese fellow. I actually worked with him. He would come. He gave me a ride back and forth to work. Even thank you, Koji. That was a really nice thing. Oh, wait, Wonder Flower. What'd she say? Da-da-da. Lynn says Wonder Flower. Oh, yes, it is Wonder Flower. Actually, awesome product. Really good stuff. Yeah. So anyway, this was a Japanese fast food restaurant. I'll get to the story. There is a point to this. I know oftentimes there isn't, but today there happens to be. I'm on a roll. Or a cinnamon croissant, maybe? All right, crescent roll. Yes, it is National Cinnamon Crescent Roll Day. I don't know why that's a national day, but go to National Day calendar and check it out. It sounds good. I wish I had a something with pork or chicken. If I didn't have porcini mushrooms in the meal, that'd be good. But cinnamon goes well with pork or chicken. Just saying. All right, so back to the story. We had a 5-gallon, but we did everything from scratch there. We would debone chickens, right? The chicken thighs were used for teriyaki chicken. The chicken breast was, we made scallopini out of it for different preparations. We made skewers, all sorts of wonderful, beautiful, fresh Japanese food was made there. All cooked to order, and we were open, I think, till 10 p.m. Opened at 10 or 11 a.m. It's called Shooting Star. Had a little tiny sushi bar with 4 seats. Did a lot of to-go stuff. Had a drive-through window. Yes, I had to cook chicken teriyaki to order if you ordered it. So it was fantastic. Katsudon, which is a breaded pork cutlet that's fried. And then you take that and you cut it into strips, inch-wide strips. And you put it in the pan with basically there's a slightly sweetened Japanese broth that goes in there with an egg that's broken into the pan, and the egg is scrambled up before you put it in. So it basically creates this. You have the egg, the liquid, and the pork kind of congeal together. There's always more liquid than there is egg and custard. I mean, egg and cutlet, but then that's poured over a bowl of Japanese rice, the kind of semi-sticky. One of my favorites. All right. So teriyaki sauce, we went through, 10 gallons, 5 gallons of teriyaki sauce a week at least, probably closer to 10. This was a busy little store. And one day, I was tasked with thickening the teriyaki sauce. I had not yet gone to culinary school, hadn't yet worked in Japan as a cook and then a chef. Okay, hadn't really learned about that much about Japanese food. I just loved Japanese food, and I had the opportunity to work there. And I was probably pretty low on their. I don't want to say too low on their pay scale, but I'm sure I didn't get paid very much. So I make the big slurry. It's a 5-gallon pot. I start pouring it in and stirring as fast as I can, and I hear somebody go, "No!" with he had a noticeable Japanese accent when he said it. You might not have heard it in my voice, but it was there. And I turn around and he's running at me, and it was this big guy. What was his name? It wasn't Koji's friend. Koji Uogaeshi was the guy. He was my roommate, and he used to give me a ride to and from work. I don't remember his name. He was a big, burly Japanese guy who used to cycle like 200 miles a week. He was from Tokyo. And he was running at me, and I was like, oh, dude, what did I do? I thought he was going to like throw me on the grill and cook me for dinner. But I'd poured about half of this giant bottle of the slurry in there, and I'm stirring, and he gets there, and it was too late. He's shaking his head. His head slumped forward, and he's like, look. I looked in there, and of course, here come all these floating, clearish, white kind of clearish balls and interesting shapes of what? Cooked cornstarch. So that's why you heat the liquid or temper it to bring it up to close to the same temperature as the liquid you're trying to thicken. Trust me, it works. You avoid lumpy gravy every time. Oh, but if it does come out lumpy, there's a couple things you can do. Take a fine mesh strainer. Push it through that. If you have one that's large enough that you can actually use a whisk, putting a cup or two at a time, you use the whisk to kind of push the liquid through. Don't push too hard, because what happens is you end up breaking up those lumps into smaller lumps, and they go into your gravy. So anyway, Facebook will not let me invite any more people. What in the heck is going on? Yes, invite others. Oh, let me close that and see what happens. I don't know what is going on. I'm becoming less and less a fan. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, so here's a listener out of Florida. I get invite. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't worry out, Christine. Anyway, I get invites for watch parties all the time, and I finally decided to find out what they are. This is my first. Love cooking, and I love Julia Childs. Glad I logged on. Thank you very much for listening. Stephen Ayer Jr., what'd you say? Come on, it keeps always temper your cold liquids. Yes, and temper your temper, by the way. Temper your temper. All right, so it's funny because every time that Summy, what's up, Summy? What did he say? Bitter and savory? Huh? Bitter, sweet, and savory? So Summy was in her day. Summy is actually going to the Summy. What's the name? You got to tell me what the title is. There's a National Pie Bake Off that happens every year in Orlando, Florida. He leaves tomorrow. He's going to enter 3 pies in the contest. If you've been listening for any length of time, while I was in Doc's previous show and here, it's cool. He's doing 3 cool pies. One is a peanut butter pie. It's got this amazing chocolate crust on top. The actual crust of the pie is a sponge, which he bakes and then molds to the shape of the pie pan. Devin Pratt, the CBD baking goddess, Devin Pratt, out of where are you, New Hampshire? She said, "I'll try anything once." Well, thanks for joining, and don't forget to temper your liquids. Right? You know better, Devin. She's a great baker. She actually taught me that. Because she makes these wonderful CBD infused brownies and some other great products. And she does some dog treats. Oh, fantastic. Look up Devin Pratt, Pratt. She sells some great Canaway products. Canaway, one of the finest producers of CBD products in the country. They're owned by Medical Marijuana Inc., the first publicly traded medical marijuana company, as a matter of fact. Yes, I make lump in teriyaki sauce, Derry. Yes, I did. Sorry, I screwed up. Anyway. You can, there's a point at which CBD is affected by the heat, and Devin was one that told me that. But you know what? Don't bother baking stuff at home with CBDs in it. Just order her products. Awesome stuff. Yes, Stephen Area, I mentioned yours. Who else we got in here? Always temper your cold liquids. Again, Christine, thanks for logging in and checking out the show. We're on live every Monday through Friday, 2 to 4 East Coast time, right here live 1 to 3 in the Spoony Radio studio. Check us out on Facebook and all other social media at Spoony Radio. You can go to Spoony.com, listen 24/7 live to the stream, or well, if it's a replay, because we don't have 24 hours of new content every day. You can listen to whatever happens to be restreaming. You can go to Spreaker.com and check us out there, or iHeartRadio, where we also stream live. I love black currant. Yes, so do I, Derry. One of my favorites. So if you've never tried black currant liqueur, like Cassie soda, which is black currant and black currant liqueur mixed with soda. There you go. Black currant and soda. Okay, Cassie soda. Jeez, Patrick, it's not that difficult. This is not rocket science. It's a drink with 2 ingredients. You can't remember it, but yes, it's one of my all-time favorites. That and Campari soda. The thing about Campari is I don't like that kind of burnt orange flavor. It's not my favorite. It's not even close to one of my favorites. However, Campari, when you water it down with soda and you add that, somehow infusing the petulance, the carbonation, I like that. Petulance. I think that's only used for wine that has tiny, tiny bubbles that are natural, like some Gewürztraminers or Rieslings, but I used it anyway. Try it. Amaze your friends. Use one of those nickel words from Harvard, right? I usually use the 2-cent words from Arizona State. Sorry, didn't go to Harvard. Anyway, all right, we got a break coming up here in about 45 seconds. On the other side of this break, it's a short one, 2 minutes only. Laura Geen calling out of Bentonville, Arkansas from Ramo de Olivo. We are going to talk about aperitives. Aperitivo. Yes, aperitivo. So she sent specifically a photo of a couple. So let's see. Okay, what else? How goes that? How food that goes? This is some good stuff. Hang in there. These are aperitivos by Ramazotti. Good company, by the way. All right. Stay tuned. I'll be back on the other side of the break. Chef Patrick Mosher, the Food Biz Pro, live right here on Spoony Radio. Listen or starve.
Follow Chef Patrick Mosher on Twitter @Food Biz Pro.
Have you done it? You catch a glimpse of yourself in the mirror?
I'm one of those people you don't want to see naked.
Yeah, most of us. But I mean, you look and you're going, what the?
I know.
How did I get to whatever?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, it's horrible. Hey there, it's Doc Thompson and Brad Staggs to tell you about a different way to shed those pounds. This is brand new tech. It's only been around for a couple of years or so. It was based on research from the University of California that said there's a molecule called OEA that's found naturally in your body. It produces it in the Mediterranean diet, that when taken in concentrated amounts, it will actually make you feel fuller and boost your metabolism.
I've lost about 10 pounds so far.
It's amazing.
It
now,
really is cool.
A company said, we can take this to market and make this great product that'll help you. It's called Riduzone, RIDUzone.com, RIDUzone.com. It's Brad's worked. It's worked for Brad's, worked for me, countless other people. Go to Riduzone.com and try today. You're going to love it. Riduzone.com. Remember that, RIDUzone.com.
Take the pain out of ordering your diabetic testing supplies with Diathrive. Diathrive ships the testing supplies you need directly to you when you need them. Best of all, with plans starting as low as $8 a month, Diathrive is probably going to cost you less than what you're paying today. Diathrive is so convinced that you'll love their service, they're offering your first month of supplies free. Simply type the code DOC, D-O-C, at checkout. Diathrive.com. That's DIA Thrive.com.
Are you tired of high cable TV rates? Sign up for Dish today and get a $500 bonus offer while supplies last. Plus, lock in your price for 2 years guaranteed. Call All American Dish, your Dish authorized retailer now.
800-570-6630. 800-570-6630. That's 800-570-6630. Offers require credit qualification, 24-month commitment, early termination fee, and e-auto pay. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
And we're back. Chef Patrick Mosher, the Food Biz Pro. Welcome to the show. If you're a first-time listener, thank you for checking it out. If you're a long-term listener, thanks again for checking it out. Okay, for some reason, I'm not allowed to invite anybody else to watch the show. I don't know why, but hey, if you're watching, invite some friends, would you? Maybe share it with them. I don't know why. I can't invite any more people. I need to go back. Let me see if I go back in here and I can invite people. Invite. Yes, I want to invite. All right, thank you. No, I don't want to share it as a post. It won't invite. I can't invite anybody more. All right, I must have hit my limit. I don't know. It's about 100 people. Let me check the phone lines. I don't know if Laura Gein's called in yet, but let's see. All right. Let's see here. Laura. Nope, not yet. Okay, cool. All right, Laura, when you're ready, you can call in. And we're going to talk about a variety of topics today. I don't know if you've listened to the show, but we do Wine Down Wednesdays because it's Wednesday. You know, it's not Friday, but it's 5 o'clock somewhere, right? So what do? we have a drink. And I was just talking about, so Laura brought up aperitivos, right? Which aperitif is like an aperitif is typically a pre-dinner drink, right? It's a pre-drink. When you go to après-ski, after ski, in English, post-skiing for the day, you're ragged, tired, beat up, your knees hurt, your feet are tired, you got blisters inside your gloves and in your socks, maybe a bump on your noggin, go to après-ski, you get great deals. I like to start off with one of a couple of things. And I really like what's called a Kir Royale. Right, this is not what Laura's going to be talking about in aperitivos, but we will talk about that in a minute. But like an evening starter drink is basically Chambord, all right, which is a purple raspberry liqueur. Where the hell they got purple from to make I don't know. It's like the blue raspberry thing at, what are they called? The blue raspberry. Anywhere. It doesn't matter where you go, but when you go through Sonic drive-thru, they got they always have the deal on the frozen drink, whatever that's called. Why is it blue raspberry? There's no such thing as damn blue raspberry. Just make it pink, all right? But Cassis, on the other hand, is one of my favorites. And I don't know why all my drinks tend to be purple, apparently, except the Campari soda. And yes, Laura, I see you there. I'll answer in 1 second. But Cassis and soda is one of my favorite. This is black currant liqueur. It's sweet. It can be kind of cloying. It's not something you could do you could do a shot of it. You probably chug it out of the bottle if you're really desperate. It's only 20% alcohol, so that's a lot of sugar compared to alcohol. Looking for a hangover. One of my favorite starter drinks, though, or even a post-dinner drink that's a little sweet, is the Cassis soda. Now, I'm sure Laura's going to bring me up to speed on what a real aperitivo is. And Laura, are you there?
Hi, how are you, Patrick?
I'm good. Happy Wind Down Wednesday.
Yeah, happy Wind Down Wednesday. How are you doing today?
Living the dream. Living the dream. I'm going to say it until I believe it or it happens. Just saying.
It's happening.
Our
dream is happening. Well,
Having
what
lots
do
of
we
fun.
do? Talk about wine on the. I love it. So it's aperitivos. So there's Italians are famous for these. And we have two different kinds. We have one that you would have before a meal and one that you would have after a meal.
Mm-hmm.
So the before aperitivo, I am just now tasting one that's really cool.
Ooh.
It's called the risotto, and it's orange blossom and hibiscus. And the ones before typically are going to be more floral, and we are mixing it with a prosecco.
Ooh.
So it's actually it's a 1 to 3 mix with prosecco, and so it actually you can drink it, in the afternoon. It can be a patio pounder. It can be very refreshing. So it's a lovely before dinner drink, and then after. So the Italians and most of them, I think this. You can correct me if I'm wrong.
Like I'm going to know.
In like Milan. Well, I don't know. Maybe you know more than me. In Milan, it's very, very popular. I think it's where it started. I'm not sure. But this is where I've experienced them, is in Milan. And it's Amaro, and if I pronounce it right,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's more of an anisette or a licorice taste, and that is a digestif, so that you would have that after a meal. Heavy. Sometimes the Italian meals can be a little heavy, maybe a bolognese sauce, whatever, heavy meat or whatever. You would have a digestif. It is a little bit licorice tasting or medicine tasting, and you just have a little bit, and it does help you digest your food.
Yum.
So this is one of the reasons I love them.
So I have a question. So Campari, right? Where does Campari fit into something like this? Because so I'm not a big fan of that kind of bitter orange, except Campari soda, which is I didn't live in Italy. I lived in Germany, but they loved Italian flavor, food, a drink. And so a lot of times we would have an aperitif, and it was often they didn't distinguish as much as say the Italians do between the pre-dinner and post-dinner, sip, so to
Correct.
speak. So where would Campari fit into that? Does that fit in the post-dinner, astringent, help digestive?
You know what? I think it's both. I think it's both, like they did probably in Germany, because truly I am not necessarily a fan of Campari either, unless it is kind of doctored up, because it is so bitter. But I know a lot of people love that bitter taste. With, like you said, with a little soda and some orange, it is actually delicious. So I would say it is an aperitif. It would be before, because that becomes more of like a cocktail. I think if they didn't doctor up, maybe it would be a little bit after. I think it kind of fits in both, is the way I would look at it. I personally, if I'm going to have it, I am going to have it as a cocktail. And so I would have it before. And I think that makes it refreshing with the soda and the orange. That makes it actually kind of delicious. And it has a beautiful color as well. If people haven't seen it before, it is kind of a dark pink color. And then when you just add the soda and a little orange, it becomes a kind of a salmon-y color. It's kind of nice. So it makes it more attractive. I think when something looks attractive, it also tastes attractive. If it's the same with food, don't you think?
No, absolutely.
If it looks good.
Well, you eat and you dine with your eyes, whether you're eating or drinking. You really do. You dine with your eyes. Everyone says you eat with your eyes, but you really dine with your eyes. Thank you for bolstering the viewership there, Marie. So one of the things is, if you're just joining us, I cannot, for some reason, Facebook will not let me invite any more people to a watch party. It's ridiculous. It's pissing me off. So, we're coming up with our own video player that's going to actually go on the Spoony.com page, and we're going to just take it away from all this. We'll yes, I will still kind of still kind of put things up on Facebook, but I'm telling you, it's very frustrating platform for me now. So, Negroni, like they have that Negroni week across the country, and I was in Bentonville, I think, last time I tried to experience that, and gave myself the benefit of the doubt, gave the drink the benefit of the doubt, and I had one at that wonderful establishment right next door, Oven and Tap, and I finished it. I didn't enjoy it. It's almost medicinal tasting to me.
It is for me too. So for me, the Negronis, I know they're so popular and people love them, but again, it's that bitter. Like if you're a bitter person, you like bitters, that's what you're getting. So for me, that's a tough drink. It's not my drink of choice. I will drink one, but it's not my drink of choice. Like so many find it, and that is similar to the Campari. So yes, maybe that's we're also different taste buds. That's our taste buds, right? And I don't feel like that goes well with food. And maybe that's why you and I don't like it as well.
That could be.
It's almost standalone.
But interestingly enough, right? I like bitters. So I like it at Manhattan. I actually put extra bitters, and I'll use a different liqueur. Like I actually have a pomegranate liqueur here that I use to make the one that was made in honor of Doc by Cheryl Heisler that calls in from Mixed Metaphors on Fridays, and again, if you're joining us, this is Cheryl Geen. I'm sorry, geez. I don't even Laura Geen calling out of Bentonville, Arkansas.
That's okay. I'm okay with that.
it's Laura, Sharon, whatever. Cheryl, Sharon. I don't know, whatever your name is. It's Laura. I'm sorry, but she's calling out of Bentonville, Arkansas. The wonderful establishment there, great wine bar and wine retail shop, along with tons of interesting vinegars and olive oils. And just a really cool place to go. Ramo D'Olivo, and follow them on Facebook, friend them, order some stuff online, give her a call. If you can't find it online, just call her and say, "Hey, Laura, Chef Patrick said to order stuff from you. I want some olive oil," and she'll figure out how to ship it.
I will.
Yes,
I will.
exactly.
I can ship all over the country. I don't have a problem with that. I love doing that. That's what we love doing, is making people happy. So, yeah, and we were talking a little bit about crazy flavored wines and drinks. So, yes, we're exploring some of these delicious options. And we were kind of talking earlier about, how do you pair this with food? How do you pair wine with food? How do you pair, an aperitif with the food or a digestif with food? So you probably know more than I do as a chef, but I like.
Don't undersell yourself, Laura.
With the Prosecco, I'm saying that this right now pairs really well with my new favorite lunch, and it's a French baguette with brie cheese, pepper jelly, and fresh greens. So dipping it in one of my fresh olive oils and having it with this this Prosecco with the orange hibiscus aperitivo is amazing.
Okay,
just saying.
It's funny. I talked yesterday about seafood. We talked about shark. You remember Greg Cockerman? He was the GM over at Fred's, and now he's down at River Grill. Okay, so Greg, we were talking about. He sent me this little video. They were breaking down a Mako shark, and we were talking about the uniqueness of the bloodline. It's got its own membrane around it, which I've seen before, but not in a shark like that. We're talking just how unique it was, and I thought it had to do with blood flow, and it's the fastest shark, and I don't know. But anyway, I talked about yesterday the pairing of specific flavors, and one of the dishes I talked about, it's so funny, incorporates brie and citrus. And so I used to make at Gladstone's at Universal, and Gladstone's for fish in Malibu. I don't think I've seen it on their menu, but I've done it as special. Is you take a cut of halibut and you cut a pocket in the center of it. Like you want a big cut, like 2 inches thick, 4 or 5 inches long, and a couple inches wide. It should be a big 7-ounce cut. And you fill that pocket with chopped up brie that's been mixed with crab meat. And then you sear that, and you salt and pepper the outside. You sear that the open pocket. You sear that side first, then flip it. We used a big griddle, right? A big commercial, what we call a grill, which is actually a flat top griddle. And then we'd take an ice cube or some water, spray it around it, or some white wine, and then cover that with a metal bowl, using tongs, right, not your hands. And then we would let that steam. It was a much gentler way to cook the fish, and then take it off, and sometimes we'd finish it in the oven just to kind of brown everything. But then we would serve that with a grapefruit beurre blanc. And I was just thinking, it's funny.
That sounds delicious.
Well, you're talking about the brie. You have kind of the astringent greens. You've got this wonderfully floral. It's got the floral notes, but it's got the citrus and the flavor of the rosato, and now you've got bubbles with that, right, which go with everything. I think that's kind of maybe the ultimate. It might be the ultimate aperitivo right there, as far as a pre-dinner anyway. That sounds delicious.
Oh, I agree. It is delicious. And by the way, you're making my mouth water, because that sounds delicious. Next time I see you, you're making that halibut dish. Because we were just in Dallas and missed each other, and we made
I'm sorry. I know June was here.
We will do it again.
I know June is here.
Yeah, we'll do it again.
Well, next time you got to make sure that Tom's with you as well, because I haven't seen Tom, and I haven't seen you all in a year. Well, it's been a long time.
I know.
About a year, I think, since I was up there. But
and you came over and went to farmers market, and we were buying some very fresh vegetables, and now it's starting again. So this is the best time of year to be here.
Yeah.
Tell you. Everything's in bloom.
Oh, it is great. And mountain biking season's starting now, right? It's definitely time.
Yeah,
Slaughter Pen
absolutely.
Jam will be coming right about the beginning of summer, which is, if you've never heard of that, there's this area, this bicycling mecca, basically near Bentonville, on the Bentonville-Bella Vista border right there, really close to Missouri and Northwest Arkansas. They have a huge several-day race up there that's lots of fun. It's called the Slaughter Pen Jam. Read the history of why it's called Slaughter Pen. It has nothing to do with the people. It had to do with cattle. Sorry. It's such a great area. It's beautiful, and the Walton family, look, love or hate Sam Walton and Walmart, I don't care. They've done some amazing things, philanthropic works with their money, including Crystal Bridges, which is one of the best art museums in the world, let alone in just that region. The Museum of American Art. They've done, and it's free. You can come from anywhere in the world. It's free, except the special exhibits, which are typically like $8. And anyway, I can't complain. Wonderful place to be.
Pretty great.
Yeah, and
it is pretty great.
Not to mention,
yes, it is.
Not to mention the better venues like Ramo, and again, Luke Wetzel next door with Oven and Tap, our buddy Jeff Wetzel, the redneck cowboy chef, I think he's going to be going live on the air. I think he's driving back through. He was on his way to Houston today. Gave me a call. Be on his way back after taking care of some business down there. I think I'm going to have him live in the studio, which should be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, he is funny and fun, and he's got some amazing dishes cooking up in his brain too. So
I just hope he doesn't ask me. His favorite phrase is, "You want to wrestle?" I'm like, Jeff, don't ask me. I might have to just take you down next time.
He's a little Texan. Yeah, he's very Texan.
yeah. He's cowboy chic, right?
Yeah.
So question. You were talking about different wine regions and how they vary, and if we should discuss that, these wine regions in Italy specifically. I have to tell you, one of the best ones I ever had, I was in culinary school. It was our final exam in our wine and spirits class, and we had this, it was a blind tasting, but we had to try and determine the grape, the country, and then the region of origin. And it was this big baked Cabernet. And so I knew it was a Cab. I could smell it. So I tasted the wine. It's big and grape and a little jammy, like it kind of, you could tell it had been roasted in the sun, and it wasn't French because it was in a too warm a climate. So it could either be California. I mean, it could have been South America, but I don't think there were any South America, no wines from South America in the lineup because that wasn't something super popular 20 years ago. At least Chilean wines were just coming on the scene, but not mass distributed. And so I took a wild guess, and I said it was I knew what the grape was. I knew the varietal. I guessed Italy, and I'm trying to think. I think I said I'm almost positive I said Tuscany, and I was right. I was the only one in the class to get it right. Wow. Luckiest guess ever. I mean, Italy wasn't a stretch because it was in South. I knew it had to be Southern Europe, right? But I'm telling you, some of these regions in Italy have wines that we don't think of. We think of, like you mentioned, Chianti, right? We think of the old Chianti, the old wicker bottles in the Italian restaurant, but some of the Chiantis are amazing.
Right, Chianti is. You have such a distinct palate. No wonder you picked the wine. I think that's great, because I would guess that you would get it. But you're really good at that. You really can taste those varietals, which is a talent, by the way. A lot of people cannot.
Thank you.
That's one of the reasons why they'll pick. You're welcome. That's one of the reasons they stick to one kind of wine, because they just like the lush, whatever, or the real dry. So there's so many variations of Chianti itself. Chianti is actually a region, but the wine that's produced is mostly all Sangiovese, but some of them are blends, and some wines, but they're very delicate. I think of Chianti as a very dry, delicate wine, almost more to a Rioja or a Pinot Noir.
So that's funny you said Rioja, because I was just thinking of Spanish Riojas when you said that. It's and I think that's about as close a pairing as you can come up with in my mind. Is that a really good, maybe 5 or 6 year old Riojas, when they get too old, are really dry, super dry, even if they're aged correctly. But yeah, that kind of mid-aged Rioja. Chianti, it has a very similar color as well. It's a slightly more purplish, slightly thinner red with a narrow robe on the outside. That part that when you tilt the glass sideways, that part, the clear part on the outside, that clear, it almost looks like water around the rim of the glass. Anyway, so I didn't mean to jump in there, but yeah, that's another thing we don't think of. You talked about blends. So I think that blended wines are way more common, probably 100-fold more common in Europe, especially Italy and France, than here. We tend to be single, and we've spoke about this, I think, one of our first segments, having you on the show, is Californians are now, like 20 years ago, 15 years ago, there was a big push towards these red blends, these Meritage, and white blends out of California. Then they went back to the strict varietals, and now that's coming back.
Right.
It's never gone away in France.
Yeah.
Or Italy.
Never, because and they experiment with the blends so freely, and then it's common. Like if you know a Bordeaux is a blend. Almost all the wines from France or Italy are some sort of blend, and we're if we're used to the California wines, we're just now seeing these blends again as something awesome. We talked about the GSM as being hip blend, the Grenache, Syrah, Mourvedre. People don't know, but that's actually a very common blend in France. That is a common blend in France. So it's funny that now there are these buzzwords, or a buzz acronym. And Italians definitely, because their wines are mostly named for a region, not the varietal. And so we mentioned Chianti, Montepulciano, Barolo, they're named for the regions.
Yep.
And I think that makes it more complicated to know about Italian wines. And I always tell anyone I know going to Italy, I'm like, just order, when you're in a region, just order the house wine because it's going to be the best wine. Because it's from that.
No, and I mean, but you're right. It's going to typically be a balanced wine as well. You order the house wine, they call it table wine. Some of those are actually some of the best wines you can get there. And it's amazing how inexpensive they can be. Like a $6 or $10 or $12 bottle of wine, if imported here, would really be a $50 or $60 or $70 bottle of wine. I can buy a Lafite, Rothschild in a grocery store in France for 20% of the cost I can buy a bottle for here. It's crazy. In a grocery store, on the bottom shelf, not even eye level. And
right.
Like claret. We don't talk about clarets here, right?
That is true.
And that was like the quintessential blended red wine. And clarets only became famous because England consumed so much of them. It was the wine of choice. One of our listeners on Lineker says she loves wine from the Piedmont region in Italy. Do you have any
Yes,
wines from Piedmont?
they make a lot of our white wines, bright varietals. They'll make a lot of white from Piedmont because it's in the hills. So there are some beautiful,
a little higher altitude,
Pinot Grigios, and from Piedmont. Yes.
There's a great white wine that I like. Okay, it used to be. It's a little. Here it is, right here. I had typed in Chateau Graville, and it's Chateau Graville Lacoste. Right, it's Chateau, and then the words Gravill -LACOST, like Lacosta with an E on the end. So it's I believe it's from Graves, right? This is a very, what I call it a picnic wine. And I like these kind of white blended wines because they tend to be, they're cool and crisp, and you can serve them really ice cold and not lose the flavor, not hide those little the chalky, citrusy notes. But then when they warm up, they also pair very well with just about any lighter food that's not like a heavy big red steak. And again, the rule is drink what you want with what you eat. Right? I don't care how you pair it.
Exactly.
I'm not a wine snob in that way. Just take care of the wine. But I think that's another thing. We again, the wine culture here has gone towards this more. I don't want to say wine snob because I don't think that's right. But people get very hoity-toity. We're very proper about our wines here.
We tried to do the pairings. It's like you're specific because there's a lot of people who prefer white wine over red wine or vice versa. So when I do my pairings here at Ramo, I always make a suggestion. You don't always have to pair meat with red. It makes a great pairing, but there's other wines that if you prefer, then we can we can find other things that go well. Because it's more about your palate and just that it's a blend of flavors.
You
don't
really
have
is.
to be such a, like you said, a snob. It's a blend of flavors. White wine typically goes with fish. However, there's some beautiful reds that you could. I would drink a Chianti with fish.
Or a nice,
because it's
a nice
dry,
Pinot.
Or citrusy. Yeah, or a nice Pinot. I love Pinot. So why not? Or Rioja. In Spain, they're drinking red wine with everything. So
yes, they are.
I think the rules need to go away.
Absolutely. Well,
and
on that note, it's not there. There are rules with food. There are rules with wine. All right, and those are not official rules. Those are things that people have found out work best. If you're trying to really find all the hidden notes, train your palate, discover the perfect pairing, right? And that's different than just sitting down and enjoying a meal. So sit down, take your favorite wine, have your favorite food, try them together. And if it doesn't make you spit it out, then just enjoy it, right? Just enjoy what you eat.
It's all about the joy.
It is. It is.
It's about joy.
And I talked about
enjoy the ride.
And take your time to enjoy it, right? Take your time. I'm telling you, I wolf down more meals than wolves do. It's crazy how quickly I eat my meals half the time. It's a good lesson for me to remember is slow down, enjoy every bite, and savor what you have. You never know. Again, you are what you eat. you're not promised tomorrow. So enjoy this meal. Anyway, hey, Laura, I got to run because I have to try this hot sauce and make sure we got about 2 minutes left. I want to try it. I don't want to get right off the air because I want to feel the effects. Make sure I don't cry like a little baby, but it's at the end of the show in case I do cry like a little baby. I think I can hold out 2 minutes. But
enjoy it.
Hey, thanks again, Laura Geen, joining us here for Wine Down Wednesday. Check out Ramo de Olivo. Follow them on Facebook. You also have a webpage, right?
Yes, we do. It's ramodelivo.biz. You can see what we're doing, all our events, and anything if you want to shop online. And I appreciate you having me, Patrick. Have a wonderful day.
Every week. Hey, thank you very much. We'll talk to you next week. All right.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. So her wonderful husband, Tom, he's actually, it's tax season. So, all right, here we go. I'm going to hang up there on the phones. Close. Yes. All right. Okay. I will take host off air. Yes, I get you. All right. Let me try this real quick. All right. All right. Travis, mucho apreciado. I'm not watching here. I'm going to see what I look like here tasting this. Again, hey, share the watch party. I don't know why it won't let me invite any more people. I've tried 15 times. Will not let me. Chef Patrick Mosher here, the Food Biz Pro right here on Spoony Radio. Hey, you want to host a show? Send in a demo. Put it in Dropbox. Send me a link. info@spoonyradio.com or info@spoony.com or spoony.com. You can send it to chefpatrick@spoony.com. We'll listen. Make a 15-minute demo. Send it in. Have something cool to say. Something fun. Food, wine, beverage related. Cigars, lifestyle, travel. Sure, we'll listen. We got lots of airtime open. And right now it's free. So hold on one sec. Hey. All right, Travis, you watching? Are you watching? I didn't bring in a bagel day. I'm going straight, okay? All right. I got about a quarter of a teaspoon right here. Here goes. Actually, that ain't bad. Damn, dude. Where's that bagel? I'm hungry. I need bagel and cream cheese right now. Actually, that's not any hotter than a habanero. We will see if I can talk tomorrow, if my tongue is blistered or my lips are cracked. Anyway, hey, folks, thanks for listening. Chef Patrick Mosher, the Food Biz Pro. Remember, be nice to yourself. You are what you eat, literally. Feed yourself, feed your family, feed your brain. Join in tomorrow. I'm sure I'll have something crazy going on. Oh, yeah, Jeff Hand. Fitness and fun tomorrow. Take care.